Armstrong we had on the moon in 1969. We had Roger Bannister, the 4-minute mile 65 years ago. Edmund Hillary, the first man to climb Everest in 1953. We have 1 minute to go. Eliud Kipchoge is on his way here. And now, through hard work and discipline, he's pointing. Come on, he says. Eliud Kipchoge has the hand of history on his shoulder. Eliud Kipchoge has on his shoulder. 140, the unofficial time.
Why is it that a lot of people say that how you run doesn't matter? Yet, 90% of pro runners and the world's best spend all of their life perfecting their running form? Well, it does matter. So let's look at Eliud Kipchoge and see why your foot strike and your running form matters. Now, who is Eliud Kipchoge? He is a 2-time gold medalist in the marathon at the Olympics. He has also held a number of world record times for the marathon, and he's the first man to ever run under 2 hours for the marathon distance. So let's have a look at his form and particularly where his foot strike is landing. So first you'll notice from the top of his head right down to the sole of his feet, he has a perfect running form. His head is up straight, shoulders back, chest pushed forward. You'll see his arms swing, not crossing over the body, nice and smooth, hands back to the hips. His hip rotation, fantastic. But most importantly, as his feet are landing underneath his hips and on his forefoot, that's because he's got fantastic cadence. Now, I did a little bit of research. His cadence is around the 184 to 186 mark, which is fantastic. It's allowing his foot to get underneath the hips. Now, you'll notice right there as his right foot's coming through, you'll notice it looks like it's overextended, but I'll show you now. There's the load. The load is actually under his hip when his knee. So even though the shoe has landed, the load and the pressure which is there on the bent knee is giving him the ability to spring down. Now you'll also notice, which we'll get on into a minute, watch the heel. The heel doesn't even touch the ground. The back of the shoe just kisses the ground just ever so slightly. So you'll also notice that he's a supinator, so his feet are out wide, so he's landing on the outside of his feet, similar to how I do, and now I would assume that he has very high arches. So the main thing to point out here, he's got great cadence, high cadence, which is really getting him onto that forefoot, which is allowing him to continually move forward. So why is your foot strike position so important? There are many reasons why you want to make sure that you are landing on your forefoot instead of your heels. And just one of these reasons is to massively reduce the risk of injury. With modern shoe brands building shoes each year with more and more cushioning on the back of the shoe, this has allowed for runners over the course of the last 5 decades to change how they run. This is because landing on your heel doesn't really hurt so much anymore because of the amount of cushioning that has been stacked onto the shoe over the years, and it's acting like a shock absorber for your heel. When your body is trying to move forward in a forward motion with the velocity coming down from your hips and your heel is landing in front of your body, is then trying to push you backwards towards your hips, and the two kinetic forces collide in your knees. This is why when I always meet people who've just started running and after 5 to 6 months, they're quitting because they've got sore knees or sore hips. And that's so unfortunate because running is so good for you. I always encourage people to do a slow motion video of themselves running past the camera and then have a good look at their foot strike and their running form. And in most cases, they're landing on their heels. Did you know once these people sign up for my 10-week online form and technique training course, they almost always from that point on run pain-free after that. So if this is something that you could benefit from, simply go to my website, sign up as a monthly member for just 30 Australian dollars. So if you're in America, that's actually quite cheap, and get access to the course and so much more. I've actually put a link in the description below. So now if we have a look at from behind, you'll see on the heel pull action. Now this is critical. Pulling up that heel as high as you can in a race is going to allow you to fall forward, not landing on your heels. You'll see, notice here, he is not landing on his heels. He is just landing right clearly on the forefoot, as you can see, and then straight up. His heel just comes straight up. This is allowing him to actually move through the air with less ground contact time. So what is heel pulling all about? It's about picking your foot up beneath your hip as your leg swings forward. It's engaging the hamstrings during mid-swing phase of your running gait. This reduces the load placed on your hip flexors as they pull the swinging leg through onto the next stride. So engaging your hamstrings during the swing phase helps you actually achieve these two goals, specifically by sharing the effort with the hip flexors and keeping the whole leg motion neatly under the body rather than overstriding and often heel striking. This in turn will actually reduce ongoing injuries that so many people are encountering through lack of correct running form. And did you know, to better assist with getting stronger with your heel pull when running, you can actually do a couple of simple things. Things like doing more stride out drills after or before your workout, and doing specific fast interval workouts that are geared specifically for pulling up of your heel, so that you can also find these items on my monthly Run the Race membership site, where I've developed quite a number of workouts specifically for heel pulling. Now on this video, we want to see what he's landing like on the front of his feet. Now this is a great shot because you'll actually see the supinator. The foot is landing right on the outside and allowing his feet to roll in, which means he's got neutral cushion shoes. As they roll in, he toes off straight away. Watch the toe off. There's no heel strike. His heel is just kissing the ground on the outside. Yes, he does have that real outward step, but that would probably be more to do with his bone structure and how he's raised. So being a lifelong runner, that's probably not causing him any issues, though it looks a little bit out of skew here. But the main thing is where his foot is definitely landing there, loading up on the forefoot. Fantastic. So what do you think of this analysis, and do you agree with my take on the foot issue? And what type of running foot strike do you have? I'd love it if you could leave a comment in the comments area and let me know what type of foot landing you have. Is it heel, midfoot, or forefoot? Just remember, if something is in this video that's clicked with you and you know what you need to change now, use the link below, go to my website and look at becoming a monthly member so that you can really start to make some improvements to your running. Also, keep an eye out for my next technique video next week, where we'll be looking at Letesembet Gidey's running form. And don't forget to check out this video here of the full analysis of my actual running form too. This way you can see that I actually practice what I teach. Until next week, keep running, guys.